I'm Susan Foxley, a life coach, an author, a blogger. I have a YouTube channel, and I'm going to teach you some incredible tools to deepen your relationships with your lover, with your friends, with your children, with your parents, with your neighbors, your acquaintances. And the first tool is matching and mirroring. So matching and mirroring, I learned from a therapist many, many years ago. And it's really matching and mirroring what that person is doing. So my son, he was always crunching up his third eye and really thinking. And I was always like, Ben, smile, be happy. And I'm not really meeting him where he's at. And I'm expecting him to be more like me rather than seeing him as who he is. So the therapist said, Susan, maybe match and mirror him, scrunch up your third eye and see, wow, Ben, it really looks like you're really thinking about something really intense. What are you thinking about? And see how I'm matching and mirroring him and kind of meeting him where he's at. So I really like that, matching and mirroring. And then also how you can match and mirror is anytime that you hear someone say something, repeat it back to them. Say, this is what I hear you say. Because a lot of us don't feel like we're being heard or seen. A lot of us want to feel significant and important. And I know for me, I immediately want to just respond and give my opinion or give what I think what's more important than what they're saying. But it's really about, this is what I hear you say, and repeat it back in your own words, what you heard them say. And another time I used matching and mirroring with my relationship with my husband. He came home at midnight getting off work, and he worked in news. He's not working in news anymore, but he got off work and it was like, I've had it with the news, with the fires and the earthquakes and the this and the that. And it was midnight and I was really tired. And I was on the top of the stairs and I just wanted to say, it's midnight. Come on, I have to work in the morning. Let me sleep. But instead, he was like, his arms were up in the air. I've had it with the news. I had it with the earthquakes and the fires and the divisiveness and the wars. And I matched and mirrored him on the top of the stairs. And I said, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. That's got to be so hard to just be bathing in the wars and the killings and the murders and the earthquakes. I can't imagine. That's got to be so hard. And I was matching and mirroring him, and it helped me not be so reactive because I was so busy emulating his body posture. It helped me to get out of my head and into my body by emulating his body posture. And so he ran up the stairs and said, God, I love you, Susan, because he felt seen and heard and validated. And so if someone is also talking a lot with their arms, you can also talk with your arms. And there's some kind of like, it rebuilds rapport, but it also is meeting people where they're at. And it's not really manipulative. It just helps you kind of get back into your body. It's almost like a yoga practice, emulating what people are doing, and it gets me out of my head. I also have done body work for years, and I'd massage people's heads and they'd go, Susan, that feels so good. And I'd say, because 90% of most of us, we spend time from the neck up, thinking, ruminating, thinking, obsessing, ruminating, organizing in our heads, our thoughts. And so it's so nice to get into our bodies and emulate the posture that the people around us are, how they're sitting, how they're moving their arms and speaking. It helps us kind of drop back into our bodies. So it's very wonderful. So matching and mirroring is a wonderful tool. And then the LEAP method. The LEAP method, which we just talked, listen, empathize, agree, and partner. So listen, and how you can listen is again, and empathize. You can repeat back again what I talked about, matching and mirroring. Repeat back what you heard them say. This is what I heard you say. That's a really nice way to listen and empathize. And then agree, that's got to be super hard. I can't imagine, that's got to be so hard what you're going through. And let's partner together and find a solution. And how I use the LEAP method, I'll give you an example. My son came home, he was living away in an apartment nearby in Santa Monica, and he came over and he was pacing up and down the living room like, Mom, I've got to quit. I've had it with this job, 40 hours a week in front of the screen. I'm so burned out on my job. I just want to quit, Mom. I'm so tired. I'm so burned out. I've just had it. And then he sat on the couch and he just put his head in his hands. This is just too much for me, Mom. I've just had it. And so I listened and empathized. I'm like, Ben, I can't imagine 40 hours a week in front of a screen. That's got to be so hard. I would be so frustrated too. And I put my head in my hands. I can't imagine. That's got to be so frustrating, Ben. And then I said, let's partner together. Maybe we can do an action plan. Maybe you can talk to your company and go down to 30 hours a week for a few months. Maybe they'll let you do that so you can have 10 hours extra to hike or just do what you want to do for self-care and be off that screen 10 hours less a week. That would be so great. So why don't you talk to your boss and see if that could happen? And sure enough, the next day he went to work, and instead of quitting his job and throwing everything out the window, he talked to his boss, and they were willing to have him go down to 30 hours a week. And he was able to do that for the next 3-4 months, and now he's back to 40 hours a week for the last 3, 4, 5 years. So see how the LEAP method can really help. Listen, empathize, agree, and partner together. And I love the LEAP method. I learned that from Tim Davis, who was in charge of running parts of NAMI. So I want to shout out to Tim. Thank you so much for sharing that with that tool with me. It's been a game changer. And also Dr. John Gottman's study for happy marriages. What he found over a 20-year period is that for every one negative interaction, there's 5 positives. So anytime that I criticize someone in my mind or out loud, I say 5 positives after that. Anytime I criticize myself, I say 5 positives after that. And just mastering positivity, because we have a negativity bias. Most of us look at the negative. It's a way we survived thousands of years ago. But I want to focus on a positivity bias. I catch my son being good. I catch my husband being good. I catch myself being good. I catch my clients being good. I also teach yoga, so I focus on what they're doing well in the pose rather than nitpicking and criticizing and judging. There's nothing like praise. Praise just elevates our self-esteem. Praising ourselves, praising others, praising our children, praising our friends. I'm into uplifting the planet. So I really like Dr. John Gottman's 5 positives for every 1 negative. I also heard that if your beloved kisses you on the cheek before they go to work, you live an extra 5 years. I heard that from Dr. John Gottman today. It was a study done in Germany that if you kiss your beloved before you leave for work, just in the cheek, you live an extra 5 years. So I really thought that was super cool too. I also learned the sandwich method. Whenever I need to set a boundary or speak up for myself, which I have a really hard time doing, I can be a chronic people pleaser, so I have a hard time setting boundaries. So I learned the sandwich method, which is compliment, meat of the matter, compliment. Let's say my client is late and she's chronically late over and over and over again. This is how the sandwich method works. Gosh, I love working with you. You're such an amazing client. I love you and adore you, and I love working with you. However, it seems to be a little bit of a pattern that you're often late weekly. It would mean so much to me if you could be a little bit more mindful and on time, because I have other clients after you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really love and appreciate you so much. See, compliment, meat of the matter, compliment. So I really like the sandwich method. I use that all the time. So see everyone in the highest version of themselves, which I really like. Every morning I write a thank you list and pray for everyone and everything, and blessing everyone and everything, and seeing everyone in the highest version of themselves. And again, if we take I out of illness, and put we get wellness. So we together seeing everyone in the highest version of themselves, seeing my husband in the highest version of himself, my son in the highest version of himself, myself in the highest version of myself, because what we seek, we find. What we seek, we find. What we think about, we bring about. What we focus on grows. And focusing on people's wellness, that's really what namaste means, is I honor the same light in you that exists in the same light in me. And just seeing everyone as the best version of themselves and actively ignore the negative and focus on the positive. So I hope that really, really helps. Let's recap. Match and mirror people's voices, match and mirror their postures, match and mirror their facial expressions. Matching and mirroring builds rapport. It really builds rapport and it builds trust. And then the LEAP method: listen, empathize by repeating what you hear them say. Listen, empathize, agree. That's got to be really challenging. And partner, what can we do together? How can we get into solution rather than the problem? And then Dr. John Gottman's 5 positives for everyone negative. And then the sandwich method: 2 Wonder Breads in the meat of the matter when we're communicating. Wonder Bread, meat of the matter, Wonder Bread. And then kissing people on the cheek adds an extra 5 years to your life. So I really like that too. And hugs. Actually, hugs make you have a long life too. So really hugging your loved ones. Hug your loved ones. Remember, I'm going to throw this in there too. There's 5 love languages. Touch, time, acts of service, gifts, and compliments. That's a book by Dr. Gary Chapman. 5 love languages: touch, time, acts of service, gifts, and compliments. And find out what your loved ones' love language is, or your children's love language, or your friend's love language. Find out what their love language is, and then give that to them. And again, I'm going to throw another thing in: Ho'oponopono prayer, which I love. And just remember, I love what the Course in Miracles says: all illness is from lack of forgiveness. So forgiving everyone and everything, especially ourselves. Forgiving everyone and everything. And the Ho'oponopono prayer is: I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me and thank you. So I hope that helps. Those are beautiful tools that I practice on a daily basis. I practice those, I live them, I embody them. And it's a practice, just like yoga. You have to get on your mat. It's important to practice the matching and mirroring, and practicing the LEAP method, and practicing repeating what people say to you, and repeat it back so they feel significant and heard and seen and loved and adored and cherished. Okay, all my love. Visit SusanFoxley.com to read more blogs, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and see you next time. All my love. Mwah. Always, always, always go where the love is. Namaste.